But basically, being an entrepreneur, you have a business inside of you, and it's usually that hobby that you feel like is going to make you no money. And I find when I help people a lot that that's probably where their purpose lies. That thing that's inside of them, that thing that's inside of them, what they let go because the world told them there's no value in it. They tell you it's more value in you being a worker than it is in you being a boss, which is strange because they pay the bosses of workers the most money. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how do you know that thing that you're doing on the side? How do you know that's not what you should be doing in life? How do you know that's not what you were made for? You know, you really don't. I don't, you don't. All I'm encouraging you to do is just to try to find that answer. Who said you can't use gaming to encourage people? Who said you can't use gaming to teach people the ways? Not me. Welcome to the new episode of Gems and Gaming. Get ready as we log in to share some life wisdom and put you on game. Let's get it. Yo, what's going on, y'all? So we're about to go ahead and end this series with Fallout. You're probably thinking, if you've been watching or if you've been subscribing, like, bro, you just started it. But it's been a couple days I haven't streamed. Really my fault for just kind of taking the foot off the gas near the end of the year. But they say rest at the end, not in the middle. And right now we're at the start, man. We're at the start of the new year. We've all probably seen the motivational posts, and we probably all seen the New Year, New Me memes or whatever the case is. You probably even seen the meme where somebody sleep and it's December 31st and it's January 1st and it's their birthday and it's another event and they're still asleep. That's probably been the most popular one that I've seen. At least me personally, that's what I've seen. My algorithm isn't great. I don't see a lot of variety of content, but I have seen those. And it's funny because, the more popular thing is to pretend like it's not a big deal, New Year's. But in my life, there was a time period where I was just like, whatever, it's another day. As I get older, no. It's a significant milestone that we use as a collective within humanity just to kind of gauge how we've done. We use it as I'm about to look back and see how life has been, or we use it as a marker of, all right, I'm about to start really posting more on YouTube, or I'm about to really start doing this, really start doing that. A lot of people use it as a marker for it's time for improvement. And I know a lot of us, y'all can pretend like y'all not that type of person. You can pretend like it's not that big a deal to you. You're just kind of going through life through the motions. So, forget that try hard stuff. I'm going to just keep doing me, living life, yada, yada. I'm just tell you straight up, like, that's cool if you have that mentality. If you have that mentality that is going to take you places that you want to go, then cool, do you. I can't convince you at the current moment that that's not the case. But if you've done that and where you believe that that's not really the path for you, I can confirm that when you kind of live life kind of like, whatever, you kind of have a whatever mentality about the effort that you put in, you kind of just like, I'll just put in minimum effort. I'm sure everything will be fine. I can't sit here and tell you that 100% is not true. I have no idea what God has planned for your life. You might be on the money. You might be doing everything that you need to do. But a lot of us are not. And I was a part of that group. That's a lot of us. Right? Like my mentality back in the day versus now is just drastically different. Of course, that's a lot with building my business. Of course, that's a lot with becoming a father, building a family, being more involved in my community. A lot of the reasons why my mentality is different is because of the status in my life. But I had a lot of the same thought processes about the work that I needed to put into things that I do. the effort and where I put that effort in might have changed as I got older, but like the mentality was still the same. Like I'm grinding. I'm always trying to be better. I'm always trying to reach a higher level, right? If I'm level 42, as we see on depending on where I put my face, but as we see on the screen, I'm level 42. But next year, 2027, I want to check and see. All right, what's my level? That's how I gauge my progression. Of course, right now, IRL or in real life, I'm trying to do that for our clients, give them a marker to really gauge, okay, what level are you at right now and what level do we need to work at heading towards. I like to do this for myself, but of course my product that I'm building for my business is helping people do that. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted by all the landmines that I'm standing on. And I didn't mean to go into, but it's okay. It's all right. The whole point that I'm simply trying to state is extremely simple. Without being too in your face about it, saying that you are for sure the reason you're not where you want to be. Because a lot of life is about time. We live life forward, but we learn it backwards. That was something I've learned and I agree with. I'm telling you right now how to move forward in the way that you want to move forward. Do these simple things. Like, number one, aim to find purpose if you don't have it. Listen, if you look on your phone and say, hey, what's my purpose, or how can I find my purpose? I guarantee you're probably looking in the wrong place. You are an individual. You have a lot of experiences. You survived 100% of your bad days. There's a billion things that I can tell you that you've done in life and that you have in your skill tree of life. There's a whole bunch of things that I could tell you about yourself that it won't matter until you believe it. You have to ask yourself, what do I like to do? If money was no object, what would I do every single morning for the rest of my life? Like, you ask these questions, right? It really just makes you start to think, like, damn, what would I do? I'd be a gardener. Oh, but there's no money in agriculture. This is the thought process I see when people ask themselves these things. So they try to narrow out the things that don't make them money, but what they don't realize is they're narrowing out the things that make them valuable. Typically, the stuff that you're passionate about is what's going to bring you the most money in the future. It starts off very slow. I'm just talking from an entrepreneurial perspective. I'm just letting y'all know. It starts off very slow, but it exponentially grows. Like, much like my salary at in corporate was linear. Like, it did go up a lot more than the average person, but it was linear. Like, it wasn't like an exponential jump. It took a lot of negotiation, but it was like small jumps. I shouldn't say small. It was good jumps, which was the unusual case. The average person is it's still a linear line, but a much steady slope, like not narrow. The word is slipping me right now, but y'all help me out in the comments. Y'all can figure it out. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But when you're an entrepreneur, it starts off real low, like basically nothing for years, and then mole rats, and then it goes up significantly. And a lot of entrepreneurs, they kind of give up like early. Like, they give up early. An entrepreneur is basically like, if you got a business inside of you, which I found that all of us do, then it's you basically making sure that sorry, she's talking. I think my headphones on backwards because I don't know what. Yeah, all right, cool. I felt like it was coming from a different direction than where it should have been. But basically, being an entrepreneur, you have a business inside of you, and it's usually that hobby that you feel like is going to make you no money. And I find when I help people a lot that that's probably where their purpose lies. That thing that's inside of them, that's inside of them, what they let go because the world told them there's no value in it. They tell you it's more value in you being a worker than it is in you being a boss, which is strange because they pay the bosses of workers the most money. You know what I'm saying? So like, how do you know that thing that you're doing on the side? How do you know that's not what you should be doing in life? How do you know that's not what you were made for? You know, you really don't. I don't, you don't. All I'm encouraging you to do is just to try to find that answer. First things first, I would highly suggest you do is search for purpose. Search for purpose. I'm telling you. You'd be surprised at what you come up with. Uh, number two is to, and this is what I found. Sorry, these jump scares in this game. This is why this is my last day playing this, bro. Too many jump scares for me, man. I'm trying to give a chill conversation, and I gotta watch every corner. Look, my man didn't even know I was here, which is crazy. Unless he was just waiting to nuke me. He was about to shoot me with this. That's crazy. The second thing I would tell you, or I would suggest for you, just a suggestion, is start to really evaluate where you're currently at in life. Like, just check your stats. Is your charisma low? Are you not good at expressing yourself? Are you hot-headed? Like, do you get angry easy? Like, what is it that you feel like is disrupting your progression the most? Check your stats, evaluate yourself. You know yourself. You know what I'm saying? I know myself. I know I like the game, and I know I like to encourage people. I might as well combine those things into my content. I could do content where I'm being hilarious. I am extremely funny. You probably can't tell from this video, but I am very funny, humbly speaking. But, I could make a lot of content like that where I have you dying laughing. But I know myself very well. Like, I know I wouldn't feel comfortable with posting funny videos. Well, I know it's like serious conversations that need to be had, and I'm eligible. No, I don't want to say eligible. I'm like qualified. I'm qualified to talk about these serious conversations because the experiences in my life. If I wasn't, I wouldn't post about it. I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't even try to front. Like, yeah, think about it. I'm not doing this. If you're following me right now, you realize I don't have there's not a huge following I have. Man, I could post things that could get me a huge following easily. The formula is there. I got the setup. I got the equipment. I got the resources. Easy. I'd rather do it the right way. And for me, the right way is being who I am. Like, stuff that makes me sleep well at night. And what makes me sleep well at night is not, bro, what is he shooting me with? The stuff that helps me sleep, forgive me. The stuff that helps me sleep well at night is being who I am to myself, authentically. Being who I am authentically is what helps me sleep well at night. And that's what ultimately is peace, right? That's what when people say, "Oh, you have peace," or I just want a peaceful life. People that can be themselves authentically, relax, and not be stressed, like people who are themselves, those are the ones who have truly, truly, truly found peace. And I found that peace typically comes from being who you are. When you try to be someone else, that's when we say you're selling your soul. You're not really. You're replacing your soul for another person's identity. That don't really make sense, does it? I think you would agree with me. Like, dang, he kind of spitting facts. Like, man, that's really not, the life I want. You don't want to be someone else's life. Why? Why would you? I mean, you can only be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really hurts you at the end. I'll say one more because, again, I don't like these videos being long, and I have no idea how long this one is. I'll say one more to try to end it. Let's go to the Brotherhood of Steel airship. Let's re-up, and then call it a day for Fallout, and I probably switch to something like Crash Bandicoot or something light, something that's not gonna stress me out. But the last thing I would say, so you're gonna start off just searching for purpose. Number two is you're gonna evaluate yourself, see your strengths, see your weaknesses. Number three, and it's just probably the hardest thing for a lot of people to do. You also need to ask yourself and evaluate. Let's re-up. Let's not do this mission. I was about to walk on there, but we'll call it a day. You also need to look at your current situation, whether you're in school or whether you're at a job or wherever. And you have to ask yourself, am I in the place that I'm at because I want to be, or because this is what I think I should, this is what I think life wants me to do. Like other people will approve of me if I do this. When you it's crazy because when you answer that question, a lot of people, man, they realize they've been in the wrong place for a long time, and they're too afraid to try anything else. You know what I'm saying? They'll just be like, I'll just stay here because it's too late now. I've been doing this for 5 years, I'm doing this for 10 years. This is where courage rises in the few people on the planet who go through these three things. And life experience and other things can help you get there, but courage rises in certain people, and then they just go for it regardless of what people think. They try to be themselves, and they try to be the best version of themselves. They move in a direction that other people tell them not to move, and the next thing you know, they start to have more clarity. They start to have more peace. I'm just letting you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I've seen people that were very successful, and I've seen people that were not. And the very successful people, they always have this aura around them, this aura about them. They just always have drive, resolve. Like, they're not easily swayed by their situation. And you kind of have to have that mentality, and it's not like it's going to happen overnight. Trust me, I know that. I'm not saying this like it's super easy. You kind of have to work at it. It's like a muscle, you got to train it. You got to train your courage. And if you never train it, and if you never even try to start training it, then how can you expect to be strong one day? How can you expect to change your situation? A lot of people, when they start to say, okay, I need to go for strength, I'll turn to religion, and then they read, or then they go to church, but they don't do any reading. They say, I'll go to school so I can be smart, and they'll take their classes, but they won't apply any of the knowledge that they gain. So next thing you know, they look back on their lives later, and they say something else that doesn't work, like, why did I do this, or why did I go through this, etc., etc. I know a lot of people that go through this, and I'm sure you do too. I'm sure you do too. I'm sure you know a lot of people that just kind of just gave up on themselves, or gave up on their dreams, and they replaced it with something else. They joined a fraternity, joined a sorority, they joined a club, whatever. Like, they replace that drive with community. Okay? They replace that drive with community, and I wonder where I would get this frame. Maybe I shouldn't buy it. And I guess the whole point that I'm saying is, like, you can try all you want to run away from who you are. You're probably just running exactly. It's like the Thanos saying, what did he say? Thanos said, "You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me." How do you not know that's not what your purpose is thinking to you every time you run away from it, and it always gets thrown up back in your face? Someone always tells you, oh, you should draw, oh, you should sing, oh, you should do comedy, oh, you should do this, do that, and you have to go through your life forever, however long you live. Let's say 80 years. So through 80 years, you got to listen to that. and keep telling yourself a different excuse every single year. Because this, because that, because this, because that, because this, because that. Next thing you know, you're in church at 80, getting the same message you got 40 years ago, wondering to yourself, I've been reading about all these prophets going out and standing up in their time. And I even watch people in my time do this. And I have not made a move in my entire life. What was it all for? And that's a regret you don't want. I don't want it. You don't want it. So let's just make this promise to ourselves. And I'll do it to you. You know, I trust that you'll do it if you're watching and you receive this. Moving forward, we're going to give 100% effort towards our purpose, towards our development, and towards our dreams. Ooh, that sounds crazy. I can't do that. I got to work in the morning. All right. Well, watch me then. But I'd rather meet you at the top instead of talk about what it's like up there. Y'all take it easy and God bless.